Andrew here from Underground Training, and this is the mining industry news for new starters. Today's industry news, we're going to look at Northern Star, how they're opening up new camps in Kalgoorlie to bring on new staff, and we're also going to look at the social media posts that sent a lot of the resume companies into meltdown trying to justify their services. But first, let's have a look at what's going on with the development of a 300-bed camp and a 800-bed camp in Kalgoorlie for workers' accommodation. So this was in the Kalgoorlie Miner, and if you type it into Google, it'll bring up that there's already been a 300-person camp accommodation facility approved, and they were going to approve the other 800-bed camp as well, which has been done. Why are they doing this? It's because gold's in a really big boom at the moment. It's huge value on it, so it's over $5,000 an ounce Australian, which means that the super pit is making huge amounts of money. They're just doubling their production, so they're going to be able to produce 52 tonne of gold a year out of the super pit from next year onwards, and that means that it goes from a $5 billion operation probably to a $10 or $11 billion operation. So that's why they need the extra people. The other thing that's going on with the super pit is that it's going underground. They're not losing the people that are working on the surface because they've got the second super pit organised. In 2007 they combined another 87 leases, and that's going to be super pit 2. So the idea is, as it transfers into underground, the people that are working on the surface here will transition into the new super pit mine that's going to happen, and the old super pit will go underground. And that's why they need the accommodation for all the workers. They also are building stuff up there at the moment, which they'll use the camp for initially, but once that stuff's built, they'll use that for workers moving forward as they expand the super pit underground and they keep the new super pit going. So that's what's going on in Kalgoorlie and why that's happening. And as you can see, this is our map with all the gold and copper mines around Australia on here that are looking for people at the moment. This is where you're going to find your job. These are where the jobs are. You know, if you're looking anywhere else but surface exploration or hard rock underground, you're probably looking in an area of the industry that they've already got experienced people to choose from. There's two places in the industry where they actually need people at the moment, and that's in surface exploration and hard rock underground. You can have a read. I've done this blog here that runs through where those places are and why they need them and how they need them. But this is your way into what's going on with the miners. Now, if we jump over to this one here, if you haven't seen this person's video, we're not going to watch it, but he's come out and said a few things that I tend to agree with. A lot of the resume companies around the place, I struggle to understand what they're trying to do. I know what we're trying to do with our stuff. We're teaching you how it all works. So we teach you how we drill it, how we charge it, how we blast it, how we bog it out, put the ground support in, create the levels, make the stopes, backfill it all with paste and leave it how we found it. So you can decide whether you actually want to do this job for yourself or not. I don't understand how people think that just getting a resume written is going to get you a job if you've got no transferable skills. And moving into one of these hard rock underground mines, there are no transferable skills. Like I tell people all the time, that if you've got 10 years civil experience and I've got you coming on my crew as a new truck driver and I've got somebody coming on the crew from McDonald's, you guys are in exactly the same spot. The person with the civil experience has probably got half a day ahead of the person coming in from McDonald's with learning how to drive the truck. Apart from that, I've got to teach you everything else from scratch, and that's what's lost on people. And I just don't understand how people think that they're going to get a mining job out of a fancy new resume if they don't know anything about mining. This is the approach that I find most resume companies take when trying to help you find a job. They put you in for the utility jobs or a shutdown job, the easiest job that they think that they could possibly find. But what they don't tell you is with the utility jobs, you've got the poaching rule. So it just ends up being a dead-end job. So have a look at the video. I suggest you have a read of the comments going through. It's very interesting what the comments have got to say. But I talk to people all the time. I wouldn't go 2 days without talking to somebody that's paid $1,000 for a resume that's not helping them get a job. I just don't understand what the mentality behind it is. If you're trying to get a job, you need to upskill yourself and give the employers what they want. Somebody that actually knows how their mine works. That's how you're going to get your job. The other thing that I want to talk about today quickly, briefly, is who gets to call themselves a miner and how to spot the fakes. So with what we do with Hard Rock Underground, the only people that will call themselves a miner are the air leg miners that use the handheld stuff. Everybody else on the crew will refer to themselves by their job title. And it's the same with the pit and the mill. They'll call themselves processing operators, or they'll refer to themselves as mill rats. The maintenance side of things, the worst way you can insult a fitter is to call them a miner. Those are fighting words as far as the fitters are concerned. I tend to find it's all these people down here that try and call themselves miners that aren't associated with mining in any way, shape or form. So construction, shutdown, utilities, camp, oil and gas, all these people try to refer to themselves as miners. So if you've got somebody trying to give you some information and they're telling you that they're a miner and they're not a handheld air leg miner, then the information that they're probably giving you isn't going to help you get into one of these good actual mining jobs that everybody wants. And you can have a look at, this is our flow chart that we've got with the mining, with the different areas of the industry. And as you can see, all the production mining jobs are up here. Then you've got your maintenance jobs and your professional jobs. That's basically the jobs that you need for mining. So the actual nuts and bolts of blowing stuff up and moving it up and throwing it through the mill and all that sort of stuff. Mining, construction, shutdown and utilities is all about constructing the mine to start with, building the road. Shutdowns is ongoing maintenance, and camp utilities is about feeding everybody and cleaning stuff. None of that stuff is all about mining. So if you're trying to get into the industry, going in this way, you're just going to get pigeonholed, unfortunately. If you want to get a production mining job, the easiest way to get a production mining job is actually to go and get one to start with. So the nipper, the truck, the service crew, or offsider. If you type underground into Seek, you'll see all the jobs come up. They're everywhere. Underground truck, entry-level truck, entry-level service crew, driller assistant, entry-level Olympic dam, drillers offsiders. It's just all out there, guys. But what they want is people that they can throw in the deep end. If you want to impress the foreman in the interview, the easiest way to impress the foreman in the interview is to show them that you know how their mine works. And you can do that using our training. The DIY package is $495. There's full instructions on how to redo your resume and interview prep. We do the 3-step plan package that comes with the full resume service if you want help with that, or the work ready package comes with a shift boss like myself, and it's our job to make sure that you're ready for all this. So we redo your resume. Once you do the online training, it's our job to ask you a bunch of mining questions, answer any questions that you've got. We do interview prep with you, mock interview, just come up with a plan of where and how you're going to get in and help you work the plan. It works really, really well if you show the employers that you know how their mine works. That's what the employers are after. If you can give them what they want, it's how you're going to get yourself a job. So have a look at the social media stuff that's going around about resumes at the moment and make your own mind up. But I know that if you don't know anything about mining, and if you've just spent $1,000 getting a resume done and all they've done is streamlined your resume and made it ATS compliant, it's not really going to help you get a job, because there's nothing on there that's going to alert the foreman that says that, yes, I can throw this person in the deep end. What's going to let the foreman identify that you're ready to get into the industry and you're ready to be thrown in the deep end is the training on the resume and you being able to answer those mining questions in the interview. You've got to be able to answer those mining questions in the interview to get a job. If you don't study, you won't get a job. I can't make it any more clearer than that. But if you could share the video around and like and subscribe to the channel, that would be fabulous. Thanks. And if you want to check out the training, check it out at undergroundtraining.com.au. Or if you want to talk to somebody that knows how the industry works, the phone number's at the end of the video, and I won't charge you a heap of money for it either.